Hey, what's up guys? Today we're going to add buttons at runtime and then assign them very specific function and parameter. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. Okay, so let's start by looking at what we currently have before we get started. Over here I have a canvas that has a horizontal layout group. On the left over here you can see my panel in which all the buttons are going to be displayed. And on the right, you can see this is the image container, so this is where we're going to display the final image in the big resolution. And then after that, I also have a button that I made myself, so a custom prefab button, and I'm going to be putting them inside the menu container. So at runtime, it depends on how many image I want to load. Each of them is going to create a new button from that button prefab. So in the end, it's going to look like something like this. I also have a scroll rect on the on this, so I can scroll, and that's pretty much it. Just to be specific, my button over here has a raw image and not an image, so I can manually change it for any kind of texture I get in my project, so it doesn't need to be a sprite. It also has a layout element that sets a minimum height. And that's pretty much it. Also, I have a panel inside of it and then the text overlay. So this is basically just like a normal button, but instead of an image, it's a raw image, and I have a panel over the text. Okay, so now I'm going to remove it because what we want to do is we want to create this at runtime depending on how many image we have in our folder. I will be pulling my image not from a list but from the resource folder. If you want to use the resource folder, all you have to do is create a resource folder spelled like that, just inside your project folder or your asset folder. And then I added an additional folder called image, and inside of there I have some wallpapers that I use sometime. Okay, so let's get started writing the script. I'm going to create a new script on top of the menu container. So I'll go over here and I'll say image gallery script. Why not? This sounds good. And let's just open it up. Now, once we're inside of this, we're going to start by importing the UI namespace, so using Unity Engine.ui, and we are going to clean it up a little bit. Okay, then what we need now is a reference to the final image that I'm going to be using, so public raw image, and then what we need is also a reference to our game object prefab, our button prefab that will be spawning, and we could also have another reference to the container of those buttons, so public transform button container. Okay, now let's write a private void start. And now in here, what we need to do, since I'm pulling all the files in the resource folder, what I'm going to do is I'm going to declare an array of texture that I call texture is now equal to resources.load all textures, oops, not text, textures in my folder resource and then image, just like this. So this is going to fetch all the texture inside of my resource image folder. So all of these are going to be stored inside my texture array. And now all I have to do to iterate through them is for each texture, say T, in texture with an S, which is my list. And now I can iterate through every single of those. So for each of those image, I'm going to start by declaring myself a game object geo is equal to an instantiate button prefab as a game object. After that, we need to set that new object. We need to set it as a children of the container. So we'll do go.transform.setParent, and now we need to give it the button container reference. And after that, we could be doing, well, since we're making an image gallery, what I'll do is I'll actually change the raw image of our button, and that is why I don't use an image and I use a raw image. image works only for sprite, and I don't want to turn my image into sprites just yet, so I'm going to use the raw image component inside our button to display a small thumbnail. So go.getComponent, and I'm getting the raw image dot texture is now equal to t, which is directly the same texture we just load. And then after that, what we need to do, if we go back in game, actually let's just go look in game what it gives us right now. Okay, so if we hit play right now, as you can see we have all our buttons on the left here, but if you look into the button object, any of those, and you go inside the button element, you can see the Onclick is empty, and we'd like to be able to set something over there. We'd like to be able to have a function inside the Onclick. Usually it's really easy to do that. All you have to do is have your button on the screen and then just click the plus sign. However, it's impossible to do that if the button is not there when you create a game, when you design this. The button only appears when the game is starting, and now you can't really modify the code because it's not going to be permanent. So in order to set that very function at runtime, what I am going to do is we're going to go fetch the button element. So we're going to go through every single of those, then get the button component, this one, and then we're going to add a event listener to this very Onclick function. So to do that, we're going to go back inside our code. I'm going to declare myself a temporary string, so tname, which stands for texture name. And now this is where it gets complicated. So we're going to go fetch, like we said, we're going to go fetch the button component, then the Onclick event, and then we need to do add listener, just like this. But this ain't gonna work by itself. We need to have a function. We need to have an actual listener to it. So let's just go down there. Let's leave it like that for now. It's not gonna work, but let's just go ahead and declare ourselves another function down here. And I'm going to call this one onButtonClick. And it's going to take the string name image, just like this. And now we need to find a way to put the onButtonClick inside of that add event listener. Now look closely what happens. What we need to do is declare a lambda function. To do that, you need to open parentheses just like this, and then bigger than, and the name of the function plus the parameter. So in this case, onButtonClick, and we shoot tname, like that. And we close it off with a semicolon. So this is the syntax we need to use. Now let's just go test it out here. I'll do debug.log image name. So what is the image name of the button we just click? Let's play this. And say we click on this one, it says Master Sword. This one is Sniper, Forest, Horizon. Okay, so this pretty much just gets the same exact name of our image, and it works. So let's just clean it up a little bit. We'll add some more stuff. So I'll do a go get component. Actually, get component in children. I'll do text. Dot text is now equal to tname. Yep. So as you can see now, the name pops up. Oh wait, actually we forgot to actually change the image. So it's fairly simple. All we have to do is say take the reference you have over here, so raw image. We're going to do image dot texture is equal to, in this case, resources dot load. We load this as a texture, and then we get it inside the image slash plus image name, like this. Okay, let's hit play. And it doesn't work. Why is that? Okay, it was a small bug on my part. My image over here has a color of black, so we couldn't see the image at all, but it was there. So I'm gonna put it back on white, then hit play. And then as you can see, it works. So guys, that's pretty much it for this video. Thanks for watching. If this was helpful to you, please leave it a like. If you have any question or comment, or you'd like me to do something, some kind of tutorial for you, please leave it in the comment section below. Also subscribe for more tutorials. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.